Good afternoon. Good afternoon. So today I thought, you know what, I'm going to be putting a piece of property for sale, 6 acres. It's a mile from Lido, Texas. And it's raw land. There's no electricity or water, but it's at the front of the property, so it's easy to get to. I want to talk about certain things you should look out for when you are thinking about buying a property, or even putting a property for sale, or giving away a piece of property to a family member. So when you're looking at property and it's raw land, I would say you need to be prepared to have some money, because typically it's easier to buy raw land with cash. It's extremely hard to get raw land with a loan, although it may be easier for those who are getting a VA type of loan for the land. But for a regular person, it's really hard to get money to finance raw land. Now, if you're considering building on that property, it is easier to get a construction loan to build on that property than it is to get a loan to buy the property. So that's just a suggestion for you. If you're looking for land, save up that money, because cash is probably going to be your best option. Okay, and then for those who want to sell their property, and you have this big piece of land and you want to go ahead and subdivide it so you can sell it with different lots to try to make more money, or you want to, say, give the property to your children and you want to give 2 acres to one and 5 acres to another. It's actually not that simple. You can't just give property away or sell property in different pieces without legally subdividing it. You cannot use a survey and say, oh, this is your property, this is my property, this is how we surveyed it. It doesn't work that way. You have to replot the land, which requires you to hire an engineer, and it's not cheap. It can range between $8,000 to $30,000. So if you are considering selling a property, you really want to make sure you have a realtor who knows what they're doing and has contact with an engineer who's affordable, because the process is not cheap. So just remember that you can't just give property away or just put it for sale and pieces without an engineer who can replot the property and give them their own tax ID number and plot and all that stuff. So yes, it's not that simple. And then when you're looking at buying property in the city, or when you're looking at buying property in rural areas, it could be a little bit different. So for instance, if you're buying some property in the city that used to have, let's say, commercial structure, and you want to go ahead and put a house there, well, one, you want to check for zoning. Are you allowed to put a house there? Because it may be zoned for commercial property zoning and you cannot put a house there. You may have to rezone it, and that could be costly. The other thing is, if there was a gas station or something that may have affected the land, you would want to have to get that land tested, which would require you to have a feasibility period to check, make sure that land is good. Small break, got the listing. On my way to go list a piece of property. So anyways, back to what we're talking about. So you want to make sure that land is not contaminated and it's not going to affect your health. Especially if there was a commercial business on it or a gas station and such. But when you're going to look at rural area, you're looking at something a little bit different, because rural areas are undeveloped land. So you're not so much worried about the gas or something that's contaminated. What you want to know is there any mineral rights to the land? And if you were to drill for oil, are you allowed to keep the oil in the land? So yes, you want to look and make sure that there aren't any mineral rights on that. And if you were to get a loan on that land, you need to be very, very careful, because once you get a loan on that land, the bank can take all your mineral rights. So please look at so make sure when you're signing that contract with the bank that you're looking at the contract very closely, and that the bank is not taking all your mineral rights to the property. The last thing I want to talk about is easements. And when you're buying rural area property that is either really rural area or an area where they already started to develop it a little bit. So easements. So you can go out there and you can buy a piece of land, and there could be 3 other pieces of land behind your land. You need to be very careful to make sure that the land behind you doesn't need to take a piece of your land to get to their land. So verify that there will not be an easement on your property to get to a piece of property behind your property. Verify that. 2, if you're buying land in an area where they're selling 2, 3, 4, 5 acres, and it already has, say, a subdivision name, just be aware they're probably going to have typical things that a homeowners association subdivision would have, even though the property is in the middle of nowhere. So be aware of that, because they'll probably charge you, monthly fees or yearly fees. They'll probably restrict what type of houses you can build on there. Maybe you cannot put a mobile home. It's only houses that you can build. You don't want to be stuck with a piece of property that you can't do what you want to do with it. So but if you were happy to be in a homeowners association type of subdivision, then that's fine. But if you're one of those people that want to do whatever you want with your property, then that is not where you want to buy the property. So make sure the kind of property you're buying is not in a already developed little area that they have a homeowners association in. And that's all I want to share for you today. I'm on my way to go list that piece of property. I'll post a picture. 3 more things I want to add really fast, and these are just bonuses for you. 1, verify the property is not in a flood zone. And it is very easy to do. You go on to Bexar County Appraisal District, you put the address of the property in there, you find the address, you pick up the map, and then you put flood zone, and it'll let you know if the property is in a flood zone. I don't care if it's rural or in the city. Verify that your property is not or is in a flood zone, and where the flood zone area is on your property. Because if the flood zone area is way in the back of your property and you want to build your house way in the front of your property, you may not need flood insurance. Second thing is, if you want to rezone the property or you want to check out the property before you buy it, just go to the city. It's off Alamo Street. There's an area there. They will help you. They would tell you what kind of zoning it is, what do you need to do to rezone it. Get all that information before you buy the property. And last, very important tip, closely, because this is very, very important. If someone has their gate, their fence in your property for more than 10 years, or your fence is in their property for more than 10 years, that land will probably become theirs or yours. And it will be hard for someone to go to court and say, that's my land and I want it back, if they waited that long. So look at the laws that go with fence lines. Look at them closely, because you could be possibly losing a part of your land because you decided not to move that fence in a timely manner. So I suggest look at the laws, and if it's been just 1 or 2 years, that fence line. Don't wait a year, don't wait 2 years, and definitely do not wait 10 years to move that fence line, especially if that fence line is in your land, because you're going to end up losing your land. So if somebody has their fence line inside of your land and you didn't complain about it, it could possibly become their land. So move that fence line. Again, don't take my word for it. Look up the law. I went online and I checked it out because it's happened to someone, and I was like, wow, they actually are going to lose their land because they kept that fence line in the wrong place for so long. So again, I'm not an attorney. Look it up, because it's there. And that's all for today. I am going to take a picture of the property I'm going to list right now. You all have a great day. So this is the land that I'm going to be paying for sale.
Okay.